It's a beautiful time of year. We have made it to the college football season. Week 0 is officially wrapped up. Now we got a lot of these games. I'm so excited. What is up, everybody? It is Mars07. Just kidding. It's Mars. Why do I keep calling it Mars07? It's been like 3 years since I renamed this channel. It seems like. Actually, it's been 2 years, but still. Mars Sportsbook Marshall. Today, we're predicting every single FBS college football game this week. And there's a bunch of it. Let's go over week 0 real quick. Iowa State, Kansas State was a really good game. Really close game. Very sloppy, especially in the first half, because both teams looked very lost. It seems like they're getting their first game jitters out of them, but then they had a good. But it was a good game the whole time. They had a lot of fumbles, but they really cleaned it up in the second half of both teams. Like, both quarterbacks weren't doing great and all that. But I know they're a lot better than what they were playing like, but yeah, Iowa State wins because Kansas State should not go for a fourth down every time. That's not, especially at your own 30. So yeah, UNLV actually was surprisingly not great. Like, Iowa State put up a heck of a game, man. I mean, credit to them. I mean, they covered the spread by a lot, and they had a chance to win this game. I mean, they were leading 10-0. In the end, UNLV comes in clutch and they win. Dan Mullen gets his first win as the UNLV coach, but was not pretty by any means, especially against a team that you're supposed to beat by, like, that's your favorite 30.5 points against. So, yeah. So, yeah, there's that. But UNLV, they come with the win. Maybe it's just a slow start. I get they have a lot of new stuff on that team, but still, I expect more out of them. Kansas dominated Fresno State. It looks like that team's going to be good this year. And let's be real, they were a good team last year. It's just they lost an obnoxious amount of one-score games last year. That's why they lost 7 games. Well, because they beat the 3 best teams and arguably the 3 best teams in the conference. They beat the best besides Arizona State. They beat the best teams in the conference, like Iowa State, BYU, Colorado last year, and they're a good team. It's just they lost. They were the most unclutched team ever. It's like Nebraska. And Fresno State, on the other hand, just not a great showing. I know it's against a Power 4 opponent, but it's still not a great sign. But I mean, they're probably gonna be like 6-6 this year or something like that. Western Kentucky beat Sam Houston State. They beat the spread, or they covered the spread. Sorry, they're actually gonna hit the spread at like exactly at points, but Western Kentucky had a really good game. Sam Houston, I mean, there's a lot new on that team as well, new coach and all that, so they might struggle a bit this season, but Western Kentucky in the end brings home the W, as they're definitely one of those contenders for the CUSA this year. And then Stanford just sucks, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not a Stanford hater. They genuinely just suck. I mean, Stanford's complete doo-doo. Like, Hawaii, I mean, Hawaii might be a decent team this year, like especially in the Mountain West. Like, they might be like a 7-5, 8-4 team this year. Because their quarterback, what's his name? What the heck does this mean? Hold up. Their quarterback, what's his name? Micah Alejo put up a heck of a game yesterday, man. I mean, people are saying he should win the Heisman. I mean, he put up a really good game yesterday. So, credit to him. I mean, 27 for 39, and he got 200 yards. That's a good game, especially against a Power 4 opponent. I know it's Stanford and they suck, but still. Stanford, on the other hand, we all knew they were going to suck this year. Just bad situation for them. They brought in a temporary coach, Frank Reich, and it's just only like an interim coach for a whole year, which is a little weird, but yeah. But in the end, Hawaii wins. I'm happy for Hawaii. It's awesome for them. First Power 4 opponent they've beaten in a while, so yeah. Anyways, let's freaking crack and do this. So if y'all did not read my community post, I'll say right now, I'm not going to do FCS picks anymore because, before I say this, massive respect for the FCS, great league, obviously. But the FCS, I just don't know enough about it. And I feel like it's taking up a lot of time, so yeah, on the videos, especially they're hard to upload, so yeah. They can be a pain in the butt to upload sometimes and all that. So yeah, but I'm still going to pick when they're playing FBS opponents, but yeah. Just figured I mentioned that before we keep on going. So yeah. Anyways, plus I can get more in-depth analysis on the FBS teams. Yeah. But maybe we'll predict the FCS pass once we get there. But yeah. Let's start with the first game of the week. Boise State in South Florida. You know what? Shout out to the AP poll and the group coaches poll for respecting the group of 5 as they put Boise State in 25, being the lone group of 5 team in the top 25. Boise, they have a lot of return production this year, but they are going without Ashton Jeanty this year because he's on the Las Vegas Raiders now. That will for sure hurt them a bit. I will slow them down a bit, but I think Boise State's still set to be a good team this year. I expect them to win the Mountain West this year, especially UNLV struggling against FCS Idaho State yesterday. Yeah. Yeah, but Boise State, I think they're going to be a good team, really good team again this year. They could make the playoffs. I don't know. I feel like there might be some better teams this year than Boise State, like better Group 5 teams, but we'll see. South Florida, on the other hand, South Florida's set to be a good team, man. I mean, they had that guy from Tennessee as their coach, I believe. And they're hosting. It's one of their last seasons in the Tampa Bay, back in the Raymond James Stadium. So, so that'll be interesting because I know they're building their own stadium, which is probably better for them at this point. They want to have a clear identity. But like South Florida, I think they're set to be a good team this year. I mean, they've shown potential. Like they were 7-6 last year. I mean, they had some potential. Like they almost beat Alabama if they didn't give up. If they didn't just stop playing football in the fourth quarter, they would have beat Alabama. But yeah, South Florida I think is set to be a good team this year. Maybe a dark horse contender for the AAC this year. I put them like in the same category as like East Carolina, like as a potential dark horse team in the conference. Because after some strong potential, but yeah. Overall, who I think is going to win this game? I think South Florida will give them a really good game. I'm going to say Boise State wins it, though, and 79% go with Boise State as well. I think South Florida will put up a good game, though. I have Ohio versus Rutgers. Ohio, they are losing. They are the defending MAC champions, so that's and that was actually a conference with some potential last year, besides Kent State, obviously. But I mean, you had NIU who beat Notre Dame. You had Bowling Green who almost beat Penn State and Texas A&M. You had Toledo who absolutely obliterated Mississippi State on the road. You had a lot of good stuff there. Ohio, they are losing some people. Tim Albin's now at Charlotte, so they're dealing with a new coach. So there might be a slow start, but I think they could definitely be a contender for the MAC again this year. Rutgers, on the other hand, Rutgers was a decent team last year. I feel like they've climbed themselves out the pits of terrible Power 4 teams, like where Vanderbilt, Kansas, all lied for years. And now they're like in the B- tier teams, like B-, C tier, C+. I think they're definitely a decent team. They went 7-6 last year, so Rutgers is definitely like improving. They had a good start to last year, but then they started losing games. But Rutgers, I think, could actually be a solid team this year. I don't expect them to win the conference or anything like that or make the playoffs, but maybe borderline top 25 team. We'll see. I don't know if they go like 8-4 this year. Yeah, overall, I'm going to go Rutgers to win this one. 82% go with them as well. They have the returning quarterback, the Calicomanis, whatever his name is. But yeah, I got Lafayette and Bowling Green. Lafayette, I mean, they're an FCS team. They've had some. I mean, they lost 3 of their last 5 games, but they beat Stonehill and Colgate, I guess. There's that. Bowling Green, on the other hand, they are doing a lot of new on that team. This team showed a lot of potential last year. They almost beat Penn State and Texas A&M. So I feel like if they actually won more games, it could have been a dark horse to maybe even make the playoffs. I don't know. I mean, those were the only 2 losses. I mean, give it to them, man. But Bowling Green, Bowling Green did lose their coach to, I think he's going to the NFL or something like that. But they do have Eddie George as their coach, which that's actually really cool. That's awesome. But the thing is with him, he came in kind of late, so that is kind of a late switch. But Bowling Green, I think, could be a decent team this year, but I think they're going to deal with a lot of new. I think it's going to be like a long term hire for like Eddie George. I feel like it might not click in the first year because it just got in kind of late. Because Eddie George is a good coach. He made East Tennessee State look good, whatever. Not East Tennessee, Tennessee State, not East Tennessee State. Sorry, Tennessee State won the FCS. Yeah, Tennessee State, the Tiger one. I think Bowling Green could be a decent team this year. I think they're going to deal with a lot. I think it's going to be hard dealing with a lot of new, but I'm going to go Bowling Green win this one still. Dang, 92% go with them as well. So, yeah, there's that. East Carolina versus NC State. Look what we have, a rivalry and a bowl game rematch from last year. As East Carolina actually won this game last year. By the way, I've been so excited to do this video for months now. Yeah, for like picks. East Carolina looked really good to end last year. I mean, they were looking like crap, and then they fired their coach, and the interim coach actually done really good with them. So yeah, he's actually done a good job. I mean, they went 8-5 last year, very respectable considering the circumstances, and they beat NC State in that bowl game, the Military Bowl. It's a fight, of course, which was entertaining. East Carolina, I think, could be a dark horse to win the AAC this year. Like I said, with South Florida, they're like in the same category. So yeah, NC State, on the other hand, they were completely disappointment last year. They were not good. They were very mid. They went 6-7 for bowl loss against a Group of 5 team. I guess East Carolina, it's a rivalry, but yeah, but like, sorry if you hear the background noise, but NC State, though, I feel like could get revenge. I mean, they're playing at home this time, so I think that's going to help because it was at a neutral location last time. Yeah, I think Eastern Carolina could win. Honestly, could win again, which that'd be hilarious if they did. Yeah, overall, I am going to go NC State to win this. I think East Carolina could have a chance. I'm surprised it's this lopsided. 83% go with them as well. I don't see East Carolina beating them twice in a row because that was the last game, to be fair, was against North Carolina State. So yeah, and vice versa. So yeah, 83% going North Carolina State. Yeah. Now I got the Tank Bowl, Wyoming versus Akron. Wyoming, man. They were a huge disappointment last year. I mean, they ended on a high note by they almost beating Boise State, and they beat Wazoo, so that was at least cool. So you have that. Then Akron, on the other hand, what a bad situation for them, man. They are banned from the postseason because apparently their academic score sucks, so or something like that. But Akron just. It's gonna be a rough season. The best thing they can do is play a spoiler in the MAC at this point. Yeah, they are hosting this game. They ended the season on a high note, but win their 3 of their last 5 games, including beating Toledo, who I have a lot of great things to say about Toledo. You'll see when we play Kentucky. So yeah, but I think this could be. But Akron, it's not gonna be a good season at this point. They gotta get the academic scores higher. It really sucks for them, man. They were trending upwards in the last season. Now they're probably gonna suck. So yeah. Overall, I'm going to go Wyoming win this game. 79% go with them as well. I mean, maybe Akron can come win a game. We'll see. But Mount West is superior, in my opinion, to the MAC at this point. Yeah. At least overall. Now we got St. Francis. I thought they went to D3. Maybe that was just for basketball. Or maybe it's next year. They're taking on Louisiana Monroe. St. Francis, I mean, they beat Kent State last year, but it's Kent State, to be fair. I mean, they had a good team. They got shut out a team. Yeah. St. Francis, I guess they're okay. Yes, Louisiana Monroe did not end the season very well with many losses in a row. Yeah, it's a tough teams, but still. ULM hasn't made a bowl game in a long time. And they're way overdue at this point, but ULM could be a decent team this year. It's got to happen at some point. They got to make a bowl game at some point, you feel me? Yeah, but we'll see what happens. ULM, I mean, I don't know how they're going to be this year. It's been a tough season. It's been a tough few years for them. But yeah, but overall, I mean, St. Francis did beat Kent State last year, but Kent State, I don't think they're beating ULM. Give me Louisiana Monroe. 89% go with them as well. And here we go. I guess an FCS rivalry or former FCS rivalry, I guess. We have Delaware State. Hold on. Did I pick? Okay. I need to stop doing this. Okay. But now we have Delaware State. Sorry. But now we have Delaware State taking on brand new Brand new FCS. God, I'm sorry, Delaware fans. I'm doing terrible hyping y'all up. Brand new FBS program, Delaware. Delaware State, that was not very good. I mean, they didn't win. I don't think they won a single game last year. They're not a very good team, I will admit. Delaware, on the other hand, they were pretty good last year. I mean, I know they weren't eligible for the playoffs because FBS transition, but still. Delaware, it's the same school Joe Flacco went to. I think Delaware could be a decent team this year. They are playing the CUSA, so, I mean, at least they got the easy conference to play in, but still. I think they'll be, in summer, I think they'll be better than Kansas State was last year. Yeah. But Delaware, I think they could be a decent team this year. It's going to be interesting to see them in their first year in the FBS, but yeah. But we'll see. It's very exciting times for them to get to join a brand new league. So yeah, well, not brand new league, but for brand new league to them, I guess. But yeah, overall, I'm going to do a Delaware in this game. 92% go with them as well. I think they'll win their first game as an FBS program, even if it's against an FCS team. Yeah, I like their logo a lot. I love that blue hen. Yeah. Jacksonville State and then UCF. Both teams doing a lot of brand new this year. Well, kind of. Jacksonville State did lose. Well, they won the CUSA last year. They were a good team last year after a very slow start to the season. They got going. They won the CUSA. Jacksonville State has had its fair share of upsets against Florida State when they were FCS. When Jacksonville State was still FCS. Yeah, but they did lose Rich Rodriguez as he went back to his old school. in West Virginia. So yeah, but they're doing a lot new this year, and I don't know if they can go back to the same levels they were last year, but we'll see. UCF, on the other hand, it's ironically a different scenario, like the reverse scenario. They fired Gus Malzahn. Well, I don't know if they actually fired him. I guess Gus Malzahn. I think they pretty much fired Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn was just not working out for them. He's the offensive coordinator at Florida State now because God knows they need help at this point. And they actually returned their former coach Scott Frost, which is very interesting. Which I mean, maybe they want to go back to the days where they quote unquote won the national championship. But yeah, UCF. I think they have a lot new to deal with this year. I mean, it's just they have not been good since I don't know, since they're in the AAC. I mean, it's been a while. I mean, Scott Frost did an amazing job with that program turning it around. Maybe he can do that again, but it's gonna be tough to do in the Big 12, in a much tougher conference, in a much more unpredictable conference too. So yeah, but UCF, man, I just don't see much coming out of it this season. With that being said, I think UCF wins this game. Yeah, I think UCF's going to win. 90% go with them as well. Yeah, I just trust them to win against Jacksonville State. Elon versus Duke. That's the exact matchup probably happened last year, even though they're not even in the same league. Elon, I mean, they ended the season with 4 straight wins, so that's good. I mean, yeah, some of them were close games, but still. They got some potential, I guess, to be good in the SES. Duke, on the other hand, I mean, Duke was actually a sneaky good team last year. They went 9-4. They weren't even ranked once, ironically. Even they were undefeated, like 5-0. Like, people did not take Duke seriously last year. But Manny Diaz has for sure, like, redeemed himself as a new head coach. Because Manny Diaz, let's be fair, he had some issues, like, coaching-wise. But then he really got the team. Actually, I think Duke was better than they were last year, or the year before that thing. I think they got a better record. But Duke, I mean, they weren't an overly flashy team. They played a lot of their games really close. Including it's like Florida State, who really sucked last year, and like Wake Forest. So they theoretically could have lost a lot more games, but I think like they're like a borderline like team, I guess. Like that's why they're ranked. But to be fair, this is the same team. They almost beat SMU. So that took SMU to overtime, nearly beat them. So yeah. But overall, I think I'm gonna go Duke to win this game. They're gonna beat the FCS team. 94% go with them as well. Plus they have Darian Mensah as their quarterback now, so that should help a bit. It was good Tulane last year. Now I got Central Arkansas, or UCA as it says, versus Missouri. Central Arkansas, man, they lost their last 4 games last year. It's Tarleton State. Sorry, I had this local, not necessarily local, kind of local. I don't know. They're like an hour and a half away from my house, but yeah. Shout out to Stephenville, Texas. Anyway, Missouri on the other hand, they reminded me of Duke last year. Honestly, they had a good record. They were 10-3, which was like better than like Alabama, the team that got shut out by. It's like better Alabama, South Carolina, who they lost to. They're also, but like this team played their games really close against not so great opponents. It's a little better. I mean, I'd say they're better than Duke last year, but yeah. Like, I mean, they beat Iowa in the bowl game without with some opt-outs, I think, in that game as well. I think Luther burned out, I believe, yeah. They barely beat Arkansas. They barely beat OU. I mean, they also South Carolina, I'll give them credit. But, like, their losses, 2 of their 3 losses are brutal. Like, shut up Alabama, getting brutally tortured by Texas A&M. Oh, man, that was crazy. But, yeah, I think Missouri's going to win this game. 94% goes as well. I do think Missouri's going to drop off a bit this year, considering a lot of new stuff this year. I think Eli Drinkwitz is a good coach. I think he'll be good. Oh, my God. Tarleton shut out Portland State. Sorry. Why do you want to say Tarleton? That's the 6th time I name dropped them. Yeah, but they do have Bro Pabila as their quarterback, former Penn State quarterback. So, yeah. But they're doing a lot of new. They got some dude from Mississippi State as their new – I think he went there to Georgia. I forgot. But they're going to do a lot of new. I mean, they lost their O-line. I think it was like, forgot his name. It was very hard name to pronounce. Yeah, but 94% go Mizzou. Yeah. Plus they're playing. It's also prepped to play Kansas next week. In week 2. That's gonna be an amazing game considering rivalry renewed and all that. But yeah, like they legit canceled a bowl game against each other, so they can wait for this rivalry. All right, UTM versus Oklahoma State. Not Texas. Tennessee Martin is they've had some. They're a decent team. I mean, they got pretty brutal. They lost a lot to Montana State. Montana State was a very good team last year, to be fair. But they did beat Kennesaw State last year. I believe that's the team that beat Kennesaw State. Yeah, as an SCS team. Yeah. On the other hand, Oklahoma State, they had a great start to the season. I mean, they beat Arkansas, which they had to make a comeback in that because Arkansas shoots himself in the foot all the time. And they also beat FCS powerhouse South Dakota State. And they also beat Tulsa. And then their last one was against Tulsa because they lost every single game after that. And just look at these. I mean, they almost beat Texas Tech, but Texas Tech always like to play close, like, even if it's Abilene Christian. Like, man, it's just, oh, man. They were not good last year. Oklahoma State was garbage. They had some close games against BYU and all that as well. But they were terrible last year. A huge disappointment. I mean, considering they were one of the favorites to win the conference, and just to finish dead last in the conference, not good. Mike Gundy's seat's getting really high, and it really sucks considering that he's the one that built this freaking football team. Yeah. But they have a lot new this year. They basically cleaned out a lot of things. Like, no more Alan Bowman. Dang it, I guess he can't. I guess he can't. Well, I guess for Alan Bowman though, he can't utilize his 24th year of eligibility, so that kind of sucks. But and then they also wasted Ollie Gordon. Unfortunately, I mean, he could have been Ashton Genty level, but like he dropped off. He wasn't terrible, but like it's just the team let him down. Let's be real. But yeah, Oklahoma State, they're dealing with a lot of new this year, and they have like what's his name, Zane Flores, whatever his name is. As their new quarterback, either him or former Alito quarterback. I think he's from Alito. Haas Haney. So yeah, they have a lot new this year. I think it's gonna be a slow rebuild, but Mike Gundy, as long as he improves them at least, if he at least improves them to 6-6, that's at least a step in the right direction. But still, I want to go Oklahoma State to win this one. 94% go with them as well. I think it'll be the first win since in almost a year. So, man, that's been really bad for Oklahoma State. Hey man, it could be worse. It could be Purdue. This could be a sneaky good matchup. We got Buffalo taking on Minnesota. Buffalo's actually one of the favorites to win the MAC this year. They were actually a good team last year. Went 9-4. Beat Liberty bowl game. And Buffalo, I think they returned a decent amount of people this year. Buffalo could be a dark horse. I don't even know if the kids are a dark horse. They're probably a contender at this point to win the MAC. I mean, they were a good team last year. I think they definitely make some noise. I mean, as long as they don't get brutally tortured by UConn. I mean, that was their only season. I think that's the team that got brutally tortured. Yeah. But they ended up really well. They won at least their last 5 games. Yeah, they were close. I don't know. Yeah, they almost lost to Ball State. But Ball State, to be fair, actually had some bright spots last year, to be fair. But Buffalo, they ended on a win streak last year. So they have a lot of momentum coming into the season. Minnesota, on the other hand, Minnesota was decent last year. I mean, they're 8-5. I mean, they're like the same record as like Michigan, Baylor, Texas Tech, and all that. So you have that. Minnesota could actually be a good team this year. I mean, that definitely won. I remember a few years ago they got to play in a bowl game. You know, they're 5-7. They actually won, ironically. They were against one of the MAC teams. It was the Detroit Bowl, I believe. Yeah. Minnesota though, I think they could be a decent team this year. They're losing. What's his name? What's the quarterback's name? Max Brosmer. So they're losing some people, but I think they could be a good team this year. PJ Fleck is starting to build this program up. He's improved from the year before. So yeah. But, I mean, they almost beat Penn State last year, and they almost beat Rutgers. And they've had some close games. They beat Penn State. Imagine how much it changed the season for them. Or for Penn State, I guess, in Minnesota. Yeah. Overall, I'm going to go Minnesota to win this game. I think it could be a sneaky close game. Because Buffalo's a good group of 5 program. But yeah, 89% go with them as well. But I just trust Minnesota more at this point. Now we got CF Austin versus Houston. Shout out to my second grade teacher, Miss Warden, by the way. CF Austin, I mean, I remember that was the team last year that like scored 70 points in one quarter against that fake university, whatever it was. I don't know if it's a fake university, but yeah, a fake football team at least. But they won 3 of the last 5 games, and with the 2 being close losses, so that's have a decent amount of momentum going their way. I mean, they beat Abilene Christian, almost beat Texas A&M, so yeah. But I think Western Kentucky brought a lot of people from Abilene Christian. And yeah, Houston, on the other hand, Houston was not very good last year. I mean, they had some bright spots. I guess they beat like Kansas State, TCU, and all that. And they also beat Utah. And I think they beat an FCS team, I believe, yeah. But like, they were just not a good team last year. But they do have some new stuff coming this year. They got Connor Wegman coming in from Texas A&M, which I think will really help them. By that, they'll help them get to 8-4. Yeah, but Houston, I mean, Willie Fritz, I mean, he came. It's kind of tough. Houston has just not been good the last few years. Willie Fritz came in. I mean, he was really good to Tulane, but I think it's good. That program, I think he knew probably that. I think Willie Fritz actually went 4-8 in his first season at Tulane, so yeah, or something like that. But Houston, I mean, they could be a better team this year. I think they'll improve a bit. I don't think they might get bowl game. We'll see. I do think Houston's gonna win. 93% go with them as well. Well, I guess we'll see in 2027. because LSU's playing them. Yeah. Yeah. Did I pick Houston? Okay, good. Why do I keep on doing this? Okay. Yeah, 93% go with Houston. And I think they win. Yeah. Alabama State versus UAB. Alabama State ended the season with 2 losses. I mean 2 wins. Sorry, 6-9. Nice game against Prairie View, A&M, and then Prairie View A&M is right outside of Houston, and then they beat up Tuskegee, I believe it is. I don't know. And then they could put up a show. I guess a good decent game. UAB any other? I think Alabama State's in March Madness, like in that the first 4, I believe. I don't know. UAB they've been massive disappointments, honestly. Like this is the same team that beat LSU a few years ago, like 2000 something. I think it was 2000. But UAB, Trent Dilfer, whatever his name is, he is on the hot seat this year. UAB was not a very good team last year. I mean, they had some like they almost beat Charlotte, I guess, and Charlotte wasn't that good either. To be fair, they only lost by 1 score to UConn, so UConn's a good team. Yeah, UAB though, I don't think they'd be that good this year. Trent Dilfer might get fired at this point, but yeah. But I do think UAB is going to beat Alabama State. 92% of them as well. We got Miami, Ohio versus Wisconsin. Miami, Ohio was the runner-up in the MAC last year. I don't know how much they're returning. I mean, they beat up Colorado State in the Snoop Dogg Bowl last year. I remember because I was like, the Snoop Dogg Bowl, what a name. Ironically, the same day the other Miami lost. But yeah, Miami, Ohio, I mean, I think they got a decent amount. I think they could definitely be they could definitely be a contender to win the MAC this year. Wisconsin, on the other hand, man, they had a terrible ending of the season. Losing at least 5 straight games. I mean, being brutally torched by. You let Iowa score 42 on you. That's actually criminal, bro. But like they're losing so many games, bro. I mean, they're practically invisible last year. They're a huge disappointment last year. I mean, a lot of people expect them to improve, but no. But Wisconsin, though, what's his name? What's their coach name? Luke Fickell's for sure on the hot seat. They do have a new quarterback in Billy Edwards, who he was decent with Maryland last year, but Maryland, man, was not a good team to be fair. But I think Wisconsin might be a slightly better team, but like Wisconsin, man, they haven't been the same since like the mid 2010s, bro. But yeah, Wisconsin though, I think they will take the win against Miami, Ohio. That being said, 92% go with them as well. It's a make it or break it season for Luke Fickell. Even if it's like 8-4, at least be improvement. Yeah. Now we got Nebraska and Cincinnati. Nebraska, they finally made a bowl game, actually won a bowl game last year. By the way, this game's taking place in Kansas City at the Arrowhead Stadium. And no, it's not a Kansas home game this time. Nebraska, they actually had a lot of potential last year. I mean, like it's like always Nebraska. They had potential, but they didn't always get it done. They lost them a crazy amount of 1-score games like the USC, UCLA, Iowa, heck, the freaking Ohio State. Nebraska, it's year 3 under Matt Rule, and that's usually when the team goes crazy. Like that's what happened at Baylor and all that. Yeah, I think there might have been some other teams too. But yeah, did not happen to the Panthers. He didn't even make it to year 3 in the Panthers. I don't think he made it. Did he make it to year 3? I don't even know. But yeah, Nebraska, I think they could definitely be a good team. Shout out to Riley Van Poppel, by the way, a former player at my high school. So yeah, he was on Nebraska this year. He might be a starter, I think. So yeah, Nebraska, I think they could be a good team. I could definitely see them like a dark horse in the Big Ten. I don't think they were winning it, but like they could be up to like 9-3 maybe. I don't know. We'll see. And then Cincinnati on the other hand, I think Nebraska also lost to Illinois in a 1-score game. Yeah. Cincinnati on the other hand, Cincinnati they need some help, bro. They lost so many. They were 5-2 in decent position, and then they lost 5 in a row. Yeah, to be fair, 2 of those were 1-score games, but like still, come on, bro. Like that, Cincinnati, man, they kind of struggled since they joined the Big 12. To be fair, like it's not that shocked considering that like it's a much tougher conference in the AAC and much more unpredictable. But yeah, Cincinnati, man, I think they could definitely be good. They got Brendan Sorsby coming back. Also, Nebraska Dylan Real coming back. Yeah. Now, Brendan Sorsby coming back. Some of those people, I don't know who their coach is now, but yeah. But overall, I'm actually going to go Nebraska to win this one. It's a neutral site, so anything could happen. Yeah, and 3/4 of the pickers go with it. Pickers. That sounds so weird to say. The people picking, I guess that's a better way to put it. 75% go to them. I'll just put it like that. How about that? Nebraska wins. Now I got Stony Brook at San Diego State. Stony Brook. They lost the last 2 games, but they were like close games. But they've had some good. You guys had some good games in the past. Yeah, there's that. And then San Diego State, man, they were terrible last year. You got shut by Oregon State, and they were not very good. I think they went 3-9. I mean, they lost a lot of games last year. San Diego State's looking for a bounce back season, but I don't know, man. It's going to be tough. But I do think they will take the win against Stony Brook. 92% got them as well. Yeah. Now we got Tarleton State versus the Army. Oh, wrong game. Tarleton State versus the Army. Another name drop. Tarleton State, but yeah, Tarleton State is actually a good FCS record. They actually shut out Portland State yesterday, which I'm recording this on Sunday, by the way, the day after the games. Portland State, I mean, but Tarleton's definitely a good FCS program. They're definitely one of those teams that could jump to FBS in the next few years. I mean, I've been in their stadium before. It's probably like a CUSA level stadium, if anything. This stadium's pretty nice, I will say. It's a small-ish stadium. I've been there twice for high school football games. Yeah, but Tarleton State, I think they could put up a decent game against the Armies. Yeah, Army on the other hand, they were a really good team last year. I mean, yeah, they only had 2 losses last year to Notre Dame and the Navy, but they're really good. They are losing Bryson Daly, who's one who got Heisman votes, I think, last year. But yeah. But they are losing some people, so that's gonna hurt them. I think Army could definitely be a good team again this year, but I feel like I feel like they might regress a little bit. I think they'll be a good team still. But yeah, Army was really good last year. One of their best seasons I've ever seen. Maybe even their best season. But yeah, one of their best seasons I've seen. Yeah, I don't know if I think they won a national championship. I don't know if they ever won a national championship. I don't know. It was their best season they've had in a while. To be fair, yeah. But overall, I think I'm gonna go Army to win this game. 92% going as well. Tarleton could get a good game. I can see him winning this game. Yeah. Moving on. Kennesaw State versus Wake Forest. Man, Kennesaw State was not good last year. I mean, they beat Liberty, which was a bright spot for them. They also beat Florida National, FIU. They had some close games against Sam Houston, like UTEP and all that, but they got shut by Louisiana Tech. Golly. But Kennesaw State, I mean, they've struggled since they got to the FBS level. They're dealing with a new coach this year, so maybe that'll help them a bit. But I think Kennesaw State's going to take a long time to be up in that contender. But, I mean, they struggled in their first year in the FBS. I mean, but we'll see if they can improve your team. Maybe they can, like, Sam Houston's come out of nowhere and get, like, 10 wins. But, yeah. But we'll see what happens. Wake Forest, on the other hand, they were not very good last year. I mean, I don't know if I expect them to be that good this year. They could be a decent team. Like, they have Robbie Ashford now. But, like, Wake Forest, man, I keep on forgetting they exist sometimes. No offense. At least in football. I mean, they're good in other sports, but yeah. But Wake Forest, I mean, it's a big year for who's their coach? I don't know, but forget their name, but the coach. But Wake Forest, they definitely need a good year. I think they definitely got some. I think they've got some. He was saying definitely. Sorry, but I think they got some good stuff coming in this year. Like they got Robbie Ashford, like I said, but Wake Forest could be like 8-4 team, but. I mean, they're good like in 2021 when they won the AC Championship against Pitt. Yeah, but overall, I'm going to go Wake Forest to win this game. I think they will beat Kennesaw State. 92% go this. I believe this is Kennesaw State's first Power 4 opponent they played since joining the FBS. But yeah. I got Western Michigan versus Western Michigan State. Western Michigan versus Michigan State. Western Michigan, I mean, Western Michigan, they weren't that good last year. They beat East Carolina like. I think they're decent. I mean, I don't know, but they're not that good. But like they only won their last 5 games. They made the bowl game last year, but still, I think they could be a decent team in the MAC this year. But I don't know. It's gonna be. I mean, I remember Western Michigan made the cut 1 few years ago against Wisconsin. I was actually at that game too. Yeah, but Western Michigan, we'll see how they can do this year. Maybe they could be a dark horse in the MAC. Maybe they might be bad. I don't know. They're kind of mid last year, let's be real. I don't know what the record was last year, honestly. Michigan State, man, it's just unseen potential, man. I mean, at this point, I mean, it's just they were struggling. They almost beat Michigan, I guess, but, like, they barely beat Purdue, and just Michigan State has not been the same since, like, the 2010s. But, yeah. I mean, they lost really to Illinois and to Indiana and to Rutgers. Yeah, it's a big year for, I know they've gone through some rough stuff. They think with like legal stuff, I think with like their other coach, they got in trouble and all that. Yeah, but Aiden Childs has come back this year. Maybe he'll improve this year. He's got potential, but I don't know. Michigan State, I don't know how they're gonna do this year. I mean, this is the same team that nearly lost to FAU and to start the season, who got 3 wins all year. Yeah, overall, I could see Western Michigan winning this, but I'm going to go Michigan State to win. 90% go with them as well. I got Bethune Cookman versus FIU. Bethune Cookman, I believe it's HBCU. They lost their last 3 games in like very close games. So, I mean, I know they lost their last 3 games with a combined total of 9 points. Or wait, by a combined total of 9 points. That sounds like a Nebraska stat right there. But they might be good this year. We'll see. FIU, on the other hand, they were not very good last year. They lost to Kennesaw State. So if they beat some teams like New Mexico State, Middle Tennessee, but like, and you almost beat Sam Houston State. You almost lost. You almost beat Jacksonville State. I mean, they had some close games, yeah, but you lost to Monmouth last year. Come on, bro. Let's be real. That's not good. Yeah, but FIU, I think, could improve this year. I think they will improve a bit, but yeah. But I'm going to go with FIU to win this game. I know they lost to Monmouth last year, but I think they'll beat Bethune Cookman. 93% go with them as well. Appalachian State versus Charlotte. I believe this is in Carolina Panthers in Bank of America Stadium where Carolina Panthers play. In Appalachian State, I mean, excuse me, good lord. App State, they were a good team last year. Oh, wait, I didn't say they were a good team. I meant they weren't a good. App State, they were a huge disappointment last year. Let's become real. I mean, they got some stuff going at the end. Like to beat James Madison and all that. ODU and Georgia State. But like, they were completely mid last year. You got 5 wins. They won 3 of the last 5 games. At least there's that. But App State, man, it's just they were kind of disappointed last year. I remember they used to be like beating FBS opponents like left and right, or Power 4 opponents like to beat Michigan, of course, 2007, South Carolina a few years ago, Texas A&M a few years ago. I mean, they've had their fair share of success. They do have a former LSU quarterback, A.J. Swan, now, so maybe that'll help a bit, yeah. And Charlotte, on the other hand, they got Tim Albin as their coach. That could definitely help that team, considering he won the MAC last year with Ohio. Charlotte, I think, this might take a bit to build. Like they won their last 2 games last year. I mean, to be fair, against UAB and FAU, but still. I almost see Memphis, I guess, but Charlotte, I think they could be decent. I don't know if I expect much out of them this year. Overall, I'm going to go Appalachian State to win. 82% go to sell. Now we got West Illinois versus Illinois. West Illinois, I mean, and they only won their last game. They lost a lot on the road before that, but I mean, did they play Indiana last year and got crushed? I don't know. Illinois, on the other hand, they've won their last. They were actually a good team last year. They went 10-3. Yeah, they had some very suspiciously close games, like against almost losing to Purdue of all teams. And Illinois could be a dark horse to maybe even win the Big Ten this year, or make the playoffs at least. But Illinois, they got a lighter schedule compared to others. They got Ohio State and all that still, like Indiana. But Illinois could be definitely a good team. Definitely be a good team this year. Got a lot of return production like Luke Altmaier and some other players. Bielema, as long as he doesn't run the Shane Beamer again, I think he'll be good. Even though he actually beat Shane Beamer, even though Shane Beamer wanted to beat him up. Yeah. I'm going to go Illinois on this one. It's going to be a blowout. 95% go with them as well. Good lord. Wagner, Kansas. Wagner, I mean, they lost their last 4 games last year after shutting out St. Francis 14-0. What kind of game? They also lost to UMass. You made UMass look good, bro. Come on. And then Kansas, on the other hand, they beat Fresno State last week, so they definitely could be returning for a good season. I'm going to go Kansas to win. 95% of them. So if you could beat Fresno State like that, you could beat Wagner like that too. Let's be real. We got Georgia State versus Colorado. Could be a good game. Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech actually had a lot of potential. Actually showed a lot of flashes of potential. I mean, they took Georgia to that crazy 8 overtime game last year. I was watching that on the way back from a football game, high school football game. That was a wild game. One of the best games I've ever seen, bro. Actually, I'm actually glad Georgia won that because it kept Alabama at the playoffs. But yeah. But yeah, there's that. Even though I'd normally pull for Georgia Tech in that scenario. Georgia Tech, I think, could be a really good team this year. They could be dark horse on the ACC this year. But I need to start calling the American. I need to start calling the conference the AAC. I need to call it the American now. It's just the American, not the American Athletic Conference anymore. Yeah. Georgia Tech, though, could be a very good team this year. Got Haynes King, Jamal Haynes returning. I know they're losing Eric Singleton. I think they can fill that void. Colorado, on the other hand, they were actually a good team last year. They went 9-4. Yeah, they got blown out by BYU in the ball game, but Deion Sanders has for sure turned that program around. But this year it's gonna be a weird scenario for him because Shador's gone, Shiloh's gone. I forgot to mention him. Travis Hunter's gone. Close to the 2-12 numbers are gone. Whatever his name, Wester, whatever is gone. the wide receiver. And a lot of people went to the transfer portal. Colorado's going to deal with a lot new this year. They do have Caden Salter from Liberty, so I think that he's actually really good. He was really good at Liberty, so I think he'll do good at Colorado. But Colorado, they're going to be rebuild this year, to be fair. So, yeah, I do think Georgia Tech's going to win this game. Really? People are picking Colorado over Georgia Tech? I'm shocked. 42% go for Georgia Tech. I mean, Colorado could win, that's for sure. But I think Georgia Tech wins that game. I'm surprised people are picking Colorado over them. Now we got Auburn versus Baylor, the Friday night primetime matchup in McLean Stadium. Auburn, they were off-season darling, seems like. People are happy now. I mean, they're not ranked, which, I mean, it's valid. But, they got a lot of transfers. They got Jackson Arnold, Ashton Daniels. They also got Eric Singleton. And also some other transfers. Hugh Freeze is trying to save his job at this point. I mean, they didn't even make a bowl game last year. Yes, they beat Texas A&M at least, but so Auburn looking for something at this point. And Baylor, on the other hand, they ended on a six game winning streak last year in the regular season until we came in and beat them. Shout out to Dave Aranda, by the way. I love Dave Aranda. Baylor lost the Texas Bowl to LSU and all that, but go Tigers. If y'all don't know, I'm an LSU fan, so I had to bring it up. Yeah, but Baylor is definitely looking like to be one of those teams that could win the Big 12 this year. I'm surprised they didn't get ranked. I thought they'd get ranked over Boise State at this point, because I think they are on paper a better team than them. But Baylor got Torrey Robertson, who's back, who came in midseason last year, and actually was one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12. Actually, one of the best in the country. Yeah, he could be dark horse maybe to win the Heisman if Baylor's really good this year. So yeah, but Baylor definitely, they had a slow start to last year, but then they won they got it going as it went on. They got really good as it went on. But yeah, Dave Aranda, I mean, does his seat hot? I don't really know. His seat gets hot and cold every 2 seconds. So yeah, Baylor thinks to be a very good team this year. Who thinks to win? I actually think Baylor's gonna win. Only 36% go with them. I could see Auburn winning this game. Auburn's not gonna be that good. The best they'll be is 8-4. Let's be completely real. Auburn's just not a good team, bro. Not that good of a team. Baylor can win the Big 12 this year. I'm just saying. But 36% go with them. We'll see what happens. I hope Baylor wins that game. That'd be great, because I don't really like Auburn that much. Now I got UNLV versus Sam Houston. I don't have to do much analysis on preseason. Yeah, when you talk about that, both teams played week 0. So yeah. UNLV did not look very good against Idaho State yesterday. I mean, they should have beat them by a lot more than that. They shouldn't even give them a game at that point. But, I mean, that was actually the best games of the weekend, arguably the best game of the weekend. But, it was competitive. But, UNLV, I mean, a lot new on that team, to be fair. Dan Mullen is playing his first FBS opponent. So, yeah, it's Sam Houston. They're barely FBS, but still. But they're a good team. Yeah, Sam Houston, on the other hand, they lost to Western Kentucky last week. But they're dealing with a lot new on that team as well. Yeah, and they are hosting this game, so that'll be interesting. I do think UNLV is going to win this game. 83% go as well. I know they almost lost to Idaho State last week, but I think they'll learn from that. I think they'll build off that. 83% go with them as well. Central Michigan versus San Jose State. Central Michigan, I mean, they weren't that good last year. They didn't even make a bowl game. Lost to NIU. And they only won one of their last 5 games. And it just wasn't a great season for them. San Jose State could be a dark horse to win the Mountain West this year. I mean, they almost beat South Florida, and that was actually a crazy game. I was watching that in my hotel room in Austin. That's a really good game. But they beat Stanford last year. Yeah, Stanford sucks, but still. I mean, they had some. I think they could definitely be a good team this year. I mean, San Jose State's got a lot of potential. Yeah, this is a late game. I might be watching this if my high school game I'm going to goes on too long. But yeah, overall, I'm going to go San Jose State to win this game. 83% go them as well. I just think I trust them more than Central Michigan at this point. Yeah. Moving on to the next episode. Is this where the Saturday slate starts? Oh yes, baby. This is the game. This might be the game of the year right here. Texas versus Ohio State, the rematch of the century, rematch of the Cotton Bowl. Texas is number 1 team in the country. Ohio State's number 3 team in the country. Although part of me wishes they ranked number 2 in the AP. They ranked number 2 in the coaches, but AP. I do think Penn State is a slightly better team at this point, though, to be fair, on paper. Yeah. Texas, I mean, they're an amazing team, bro. I mean, they're first in the SEC and nearly freaking won the SEC, and they almost made the national championship pretty well. I was actually at that Cotton Bowl game. That was an amazing game. As long as Steve Sarkisian can figure out how to make better goal line plays, then they could definitely win this game. But They got Arch Manning as their quarterback now, which I know that's what everyone's been begging for at this point. But he's definitely shown a lot of potential. I don't think he's a Heisman contender yet. I need to see it first. But I think Texas is going to be a very, very good team this year. I think they're going to win the map. They could win a national championship this year. I actually don't even have a solid national championship pick. But if I had to pick one, I'd probably pick Texas at this point. Or Ohio State. Yeah, but Texas, though, I mean, they got a lot of great hands on the team. Their defense could be absolutely crazy with Colin Simmons and all that. But that's going to be a very good team this year. I know they're losing Matthew Cole and all that, and Kelvin Banks. Who dat, baby? And Quinn Ewers. But, I mean, in Jaden Blue, they're losing. Their offense is definitely going to be a little bit of a question mark, but I think I trust them. But I trust them to rebuild off that. Ohio State, on the other hand, your reigning national champions, they looked amazing in the season. They were beating teams left and right. They lost to Michigan. Their number one goal this year is just to beat Michigan at this point because they already know they have a very good team. But yeah, but they do have some new things this year, like Julian Saints, their quarterback now, who barely went over Lincoln Keenholz. And then you also have like Jeremiah Smith's returning and all that, so that's good. They're losing Emeka Buka. I mean, they got Jeremiah Smith, Caleb Downs, lots of return production. That's going to be a really good team this year. Ryan Day is one of the best coaches in college football, no matter what people say. Yeah. Even if he can't beat Michigan. But yeah. Overall, who thinks to win this game? This could be a really close game. Oh, my God. I think Texas wins. I'm going to be honest with you. I think they'll get their revenge. 49% go with it. It's almost 50-50. That's outrageous. That's going to be an amazing game, though. Syracuse, Tennessee. Syracuse, man. They're actually a really good team last year. I mean, they got 10 wins. I mean, they had some questionable losses, like to Boston College was a little weird. Boston College was decent last year, but so I mean, losing to Pitt with Kyle McCord just completely giving up on football at that point. And losing to Stanford was completely random last year, but Stanford's disease exists. Syracuse, though, I think Fran Brown, considering he was like brand new coach. I mean, that's crazy how he freaking did that quickly. Yeah, but there's that. Tennessee, on the other hand, man, what a weird offseason it's been. I mean, Tennessee is going to drop off a lot this year. I don't think they're going to be ranked for a while. But I don't think they're going to be ranked that long. But they're losing a lot of people. Like, not just, we'll get to the Nico stuff in a bit. But they're dealing with a lot of new this year. I mean, they're losing James Pierce, Don Sampson, bunch of players. And let's just talk about it. Nico Yamaliava is a money sicko, I guess, at this point, because he just wants the money. Even though he got less money at UCLA and a worse team, honestly. But man, Nico's gone, which that's gonna be hurt a bit. They do have Joey Aguilar, which is at least he was good. He was actually had some good stuff at App State last year. He was actually originally supposed to be UCLA, and then basically they traded for Nico at this point. But yeah. But Tennessee, they could be a decent team. We'll see what Squid Talk Sports says. But yeah, and Dan to be toxic, of course. But Tennessee, man, they're gonna drop off a bit this year. I do think they will beat Syracuse though. 81% goes, so it'll be a close game. Let's be real. It's just Tennessee, man. They're losing a lot of people. That's really gonna hurt. Yeah, Josh Heupel's a good coach, so I think he'll eventually get back to what they're supposed to be. But yeah, now I got Florida Atlantic versus Maryland. FAU, they were not very good last year. I mean, they beat Tulsa 63 points. Good lord. But to be fair, this is the same team that almost beat Michigan State. At the beginning of the season, they're playing an arguably worse team than Michigan State. But FAU, I mean, they're definitely looking to improve this year. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, Maryland, on the other hand, they're losing Billy Edwards, all that. And they were not very good last year. They lost tons of games, including getting blown out by Penn State. But overall, I do think Maryland will still win this game. 93% confidence. So FAU will make it a close game, that's for sure. No matter how good they are. Duquesne versus Pitt. Duquesne, I mean, they won 4 of their last 5 games last year, so there's that. They could definitely put up. But they're playing against Pitt. Pitt started off 7-0 and then ended up with 6 straight losses. They were not very good. To be fair, I mean, of course they had that game against Toledo with a billion overtimes. So Toledo basically won that game 3 times. Let's be real. But Pitt, man, is unseen potential, man. Eli Holstein is coming back off injury. I think really hurt him last year. I think as long as he's back, I think they'll be at least a decent team. Pitt, man, just unseen potential, man. Just unfulfilled potential, I guess. Start last year. I mean, they beat Syracuse and all that, and it'd be a good team after all. But yeah. But overall, I do think Pitt's going to win this game. 95% of them. It's all be a first win in a while. Yeah. But Pitt just needs to get something going. That's for sure. Now I got Ball State versus Purdue. Ball State, I mean, they had some bright spots, like they beat NIU and all that, but like they lost a bunch of games. Like, yes, 2 of them once were like the Miami and Buffalo are actually good teams, but it's just Ball State has not been that good. Let's be real, yeah. Purdue, on the other hand, they beat Indiana State last year. They shot Indiana State 49-0. And that was literally the only win last year. They lost 11 straight games. They were the worst team in the Power 4 last year. 1-11. They were terrible. They wiped the whole house out. They got Barry Odom from UNLV. I think will actually improve that program. I don't think they're going to be that good this year. I think it's a long-term plan to eventually make them successful. But yeah, Purdue, man, they were awful last year. Oh, man. It's an insult to Drew Brees, man. Don't do my boy Drew Brees like that and turn his alma mater to a one-win school. But Purdue, I think they definitely will have some improvement this year. I don't think they'll be that good this year, but we'll see. Imagine they turn into Indiana, just win a billion games in a row. Yeah, Purdue, it's just they're looking. I do think Purdue is gonna win. Oh my God, 91% go with them. I'm surprised. I think Ball State's it could be a decent team, but Purdue, I think they'll get their first win against an FBS spot forever. I think Barry Odom is gonna actually improve the team though. Yeah, I think he was really good at UNLV last year. So yeah, I do think Purdue's gonna win for the first time in a year. It's a worse scenario than Oklahoma State at this point. Now I got Merrimack versus Kent State. Oh boy, where do I even begin? Merrimack actually won the last 5 games last year. I got shot by Robert Morris in a very defensive matchup. But I mean, Merrimack, they're a decent FCS team, so I think they could. So we'll see what they can do. Kent State, on the other hand, oh my God, they were terrible last year. Not a single game won. That is awful, dude. They fired their coach, at least, Kenny Burns, for a terrible credit score of all things, which I guess got to get him some way to get him out of here. Yeah, they were terrible, dude. They lost 12 games. They should be demoted down to the Z League at this point, bro. They don't even deserve to be an FBS at this point. They have, it's just terrible, bro. Kent State has just been terrible. Now, who thinks to win this game? I'm saying it. Merrimack's going to win. I'm surprised only 10% going with them. How the heck are people picking Kent State to win, bro? Kent State's awful, bro. They're not going to win. 10% got them as well. I mean, they lost to St. Francis, too. Kent State's just awful. Maybe with a new coach it'll help. It was a lateral move. It was the offensive corner, I think. But yeah. Merrimack, I think, will win that game. Yeah, I got a little military match. I got VMI versus Navy. VMI only won last 5 games last year, so. And Navy, on the other hand, they're a very good team last year. I mean, yeah, they got blown out by they got blown out by Notre Dame. They got shut up by the Tulane. They also lost to Rice last year. They on the high note. They beat East Carolina, beat Army, and they also beat Oklahoma, who also beat Alabama, of course. Yeah, they weren't that good, but still. Yeah. OU wasn't that good, but still. I mean, as long as OU beat Alabama, that made me happy. Yeah, but Navy, they are returning Blake Horvath. I think they'll be a very good team this year. I think they could be contender in the AAC this year. Yeah, I think as long as they don't get lost like they did last season at one point, I think they'll be very good this year. I think Navy's going to win. 95% go with them as well. I think Navy sets to be a really good team this year. Yeah. Mississippi State versus Southern Mississippi. Mississippi State, oh my God, they were terrible last year. And they're actually going on the road to Southern Miss. Both these teams were terrible last year. Let's be real. Mississippi State, they won 2 games last year against Eastern Kentucky and UMass. They're not a very good team. And they lost a lot of games. I mean, they almost beat Georgia, I guess. They had some close games, but Mississippi State was just terrible, bro. I mean, they got blown out by Toledo at home. That's not acceptable. Especially for your SEC team, yeah. Southern Miss, on the other hand, they were even worse last year. I mean, they went 1-11. Oh yeah, Mississippi State lost Michael Van Buren. Thank you for giving us the Michael Van Buren. He's gonna become the Heisman Trophy winner 2027. Yeah. Southern Miss, on the other hand, one win, I believe, last year. It was not good. But to be fair, they did fire their coach, and they have the dude from Marshall now, which forgot his name. Not Tony Gibson. It's the new coach from Marshall. I forgot his name, but he is Charles Huff, I think is his name. Yeah, Charles Huff, I believe it is. It is there. Southern Miss, I think, will definitely improve this year. And we'll see how they can do. I mean, if anything is better last season, I think they will. This is the same. They had the same coach that won the freaking Sun Belt going to the team that lost the Sun Belt. That was the last team in the Sun Belt. Yeah. I think to win this game, I'm honestly kind of conflicted. I'm going to go Mississippi State to win. I think Southern Miss is going to have a slowish start. I do think Mississippi State's going to win. 86% go with them as well. Listen, yes, I know I lost to Toledo last year. But, I mean, I just have feeling they're going to win. I don't know. It's weird. I'm surprised they're going to Southern Miss. What do I know? Northwestern, Tulane. Northwestern, I mean, they were not good. 4-8, and they're not even in a real stadium. But Ryan Field, I think, is supposed to open up next year, so they're going to play in their Riverside Stadium again. But I mean, they beat Purdue, barely beat Purdue. They lost a lot of games. Iowa scored 40. Come on, bro. Let's be real. That's not good. And they got blown out a lot of games. They lost. They had a decent chance to beat Illinois, but still. Tulane, on the other hand, they lost their last. They had a not great end of the season, like they lost their last 3 games. But Tulane, I think, could be a very good team this year. I don't even know who their coach. Well, not coach. I know John Summerall's their coach, but I don't know who's going to be the quarterback. I don't even know the name of the quarterback at this point. I know they have Jake Retzloff. After all the BYU stuff happened, like all the controversies happened with that, he's not going to play for the first few games. Obviously, he's suspended. Tulane, I think, could be a very good team this year. We'll see if they can handle the Jake Retzloff stuff. But Tulane, they're one of the best group of 5 teams at this point. I think they're actually going to beat Northwestern. 65% go with them as well. And they're also hosting Northwestern. Northwestern, I mean, they got Preston Stone, who could be decent. I mean, that's the same thing I benched SMU for Kevin Jennings. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Now I got Toledo, Kentucky. This one, I think, could be a close game. I don't know. Toledo, I think, is going to be a very good team this year. I mean, yes, I know they lost to Akron and Ohio, but Toledo's got a lot of return production. Got Tucker Gleason at quarterback again. This is also the same team that went into Mississippi State and blow them out. Yeah, Mississippi State sucked last year, but still. Toledo, I think Toledo is honestly my pick to win the MAC at this point. They're going to be very good this year. I think they could be like 10 wins this year. I think they're a lot. That team's got a lot of potential. I think they're going to be really good this year. Kentucky, on the other hand, oh man, it was not good. I mean, they beat Ole Miss, so I'll give them that at least, which is great. But like, they were not good. 4 wins, that's it. I mean, come on, bro. Mark Stoops is on the hot seat. I'm surprised. I'm honestly kind of shocked he didn't get fired last year, but it's gonna be. I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what happens with Kentucky. Now, who I think is gonna win this game? Toledo did it in Mississippi State. I think they'll do it again. I think Toledo wins this game. I know only 14% go with them. Toledo, I think, is a better team than Kentucky at this point. I do think Toledo's gonna win. I don't think they're gonna blow them out, but we'll see. Like they did Mississippi State, because Kentucky's a slightly better team. But yeah, Fordham versus Boston College. Fordham, I mean, they were against us, and they win loss, and all that in the season. So Fordham, we'll see what happens there. Boston College, they were okay last year, 7-6. I guess that's not terrible, but like they're losing Tommy Castellanos and some other people. They also losing Donovan Ezeduku, whatever his name is. I know my boy Yush knows how to pronounce it because he's on the Cowboys at this point. But Boston College, I mean, I know Bill O'Brien's their coach and all that. He was in the NFL, and he actually turned into a decent team, but I don't think they'd be that good this year. I do think they're going to win this game. 97% go with them as well. Good Lord. I got Robert Morris versus West Virginia. Robert Morris, man. I mean, they remember about that team. It was that crazy interception he had against Utah State. But, I mean, they won 3 of the last 5 games last year, including 2 shutouts, so that's interesting. Yeah. Robert Morris, we'll see what they can do. West Virginia, they were completely mid last year. They were 6-7 with a loss to Memphis in the Frisco Bowl. So yeah, but they do have their old coach back. They have Rich Rodriguez. He's officially back at the Country Roads. Because Neil Brown was just not cutting it. The climb did not go anywhere. But yeah, West Virginia, I think, could be a decent team. I think it's be a lot of rebuilding because there's a lot of new players on that team. Yeah, but I do think West Virginia is going to win this game. 96% go with them as well. That's Central Connecticut State versus UConn. Maybe a little rivalry here? I don't know. Central Connecticut State, I mean, they won 4 of the last 5 games this year with the one not being a close loss against Rhode Island. So you have that. UConn, on the other hand, they have their own TV network. I didn't know that. UConn actually was a good team last year. Yeah, they got blown out by a lot of their powerful opponents. But, like, they had a slow start. They got blown out by Maryland, but, like, they got really good as the season went on. I mean, their last few games, I mean, they were inconsistent. I mean, they had to play some really close games. I mean, they almost beat Syracuse, and they actually beat North Carolina in their bowl game. So, yeah. I do think UConn's going to win. Dang, 97% go with them as well. UConn, I think, if the team gets better, I think the team keeps on getting better and better. I think they could I think they could potentially win themselves a potential conference to get into. Yeah. Now we got Old Dominion versus Indiana. Old Dominion, I mean, they weren't great last year. I mean, they had a lot of close games like Marshall, JMU, App State, South Carolina was close. Yeah, but then they lost. But Old Dominion could be a decent team this year. I don't know if I expect much out of them this year, but we'll see. Indiana was a very big surprise last year. Went 11-1 the regular season. They're 1 beat Ohio State. They're all, to be fair, I know that people dogging them for having an easy schedule. And yes, I do think their non-conference is very easy, and they should, and the Big Ten should do something about that. But to be fair, the losses were against the two teams that made the national championship. So, I mean, those were two very good teams to lose to. Yeah, but Indiana, I think they're set to be a really good team again this year. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll make the playoffs again, but they could be a contender. We'll see. Indiana, I think, will win this game. 93% of those. So they're probably going to demolish Old Dominion because they demolish every team that they play. That's not named Ohio State or Notre Dame. Now, Eastern Kentucky versus Louisville. Eastern Kentucky, I mean, they lost to Mississippi State last year. They won 4 of their last 5 games last year. The one being a close loss to Villanova. So, yeah, so maybe they'll do something here. But Louisville's got a lot of good stuff. They got Jeff Brown, of course, their coach. He's done a good job with that program. Decent job with that program. I mean, since he left Purdue. I mean, he's left Purdue in the dust, obviously. I mean, Louisville, they can be inconsistent. I mean, they beat Clemson, and then they beat Clemson 1 week. Then the next week they beat Stanford. And then next week they lose to Stanford. I mean, come on, bro. But Louisville, they got some good stuff coming this year. They're losing Tyler Shuck to the Saints, so hopefully he's very good with the Saints. That'd be great. They're losing some other players too. But I do have Miller Moss, who, I mean, yeah, I know that didn't go great at USC. I mean, well, he's got potential. Some of that game against LSU is very good. People said he was going to win the Heisman at one point. Yeah, Miller Moss, I think he'll be better. He's in a better spot in Louisville at this point. But yeah, I think Louisville wins. They're going to blow them out. 97% go with them as well. Like Nevada, Penn State. Nevada was not very good. 3-10, very weird record. They didn't make a bowl game, but they had to schedule an extra game last year. Something like that. I think it's because SMU Vanderbilt series got canceled, but yeah. Something like that. I don't know. They played 13 games, so it was a little odd, but yeah. Penn State, on the other hand, I'd argue they're the number 1 team in the country. They got a lot of return production. Now they're losing Tyler Warren and Bill Carter to the NFL, but and of course, Bro Bill is their backup quarterback to Missouri, but I think they can rebuild off all that. Drew Alves returning, Nick Singleton, got a lot of return production this year. And this might be their year, honestly. Give me Penn State, 92% go with them as well. I'm surprised it's not 99%. What do I know? Now we got Marshall versus Georgia. Yeah, Penn State almost lost to Bowling Green, but still. Bowling Green's a much better. Nevada's a much worse team to be fair. It's not a good. Nevada's not a good team. That's real. Marshall versus you got 2 conference champions going against two former reigning conference champions go each other. You got the Sun Belt champion Marshall, aka me, taking up Georgia, the former SEC, the reigning SEC champion. Marshall, listen, I know they were great last year. They lost everyone because Charles F left and they took all the transfers. The transfer exodus was so bad they couldn't even play the bowl game against Orange. I think that would have been a good game considering all that. But I mean, they're losing a lot. Tony Gibbs is their coach now, but he's got a lot new to deal with, so that's gonna be really tough. And you're opening the season against Georgia. I mean, yeah, Georgia on the other hand, they're gonna be a very good team. I think again this year. I don't know if they're not going to be as good as 22, 21, 23. But I think they could be a good team again this year. They're losing a lot. They're losing some players on defense, like Jalen Walker and some other people. They're also losing Carson Beck to Miami. I know Doug and Mario won, but he had his moments. Yeah. And of course, Carson Beck was originally supposed to go to the draft. He went to Miami. I know Carson Beck regressed a bit last year, but still. That offense is a very big question mark. Especially they didn't look great. They didn't look great against that team. That team, what to say? They didn't look great against Notre Dame. Yeah, but Gunnar Stockton's a quarterback. I think he could be a decent quarterback, but like their offense is a huge question mark at this point. But yeah, I'm gonna go Georgia to win this game though. 92% good though. So well, this is I trust Kirby Smart. They're still gonna be. He's honestly, I think he's the best coach in the college football at this point. So yeah. Moving on to Alabama and Florida State. Oh man, what a weird matchup. Both these teams, Florida State's fighting them for Alabama for taking the playoff spot in 2023. Alabama, I mean, this is what people consider a terrible season for Alabama. 9 wins is terrible for Alabama. 9-4. Yeah, let's be real. Alabama was not as good as they've been. Yeah, but to be fair, I saw this coming. I mean, Kalen DeBoer, first year at Alabama, he's under a lot of pressure. He felt big shoes to fill. And he still did good, I will say. I mean, they beat some good teams like Georgia, LSU, and all that. And they beat up LSU, that's for sure. That was unfortunate to watch. Just beat Missouri. He shot Missouri. Alabama was very inconsistent last year. Has to be second last year. Yeah. But, I mean, I think they got Ryan Grubb, I believe, I think is his name. Who's that? Kellen DeBoer at Washington. But Kellen DeBoer, I think Alabama's going to be approved this year. We'll see. That game against LSU is going to be huge. But, yeah. And Georgia, of course. But, yeah. Florida State, on the other hand. I mean, they got Alabama's got like Ty Simpson quarterback. They lost some people like, I think they lost a running back or something like that. But they do have Ryan Williams and all that, who's like 12. And he's really good. Yeah. Florida State, on the other hand, holy cow, was really bad. 2-win season. They lost all but one in conference game, which is the one was the Cal of all teams. But Florida State, man, it's not been good for them. 2-10 last year. They made some improvements this year. They got Gus Malzahn as their offensive coordinator. I believe someone else is the defensive coordinator. So Mike Norvell, it's a big year for him, but he needs this to make it a record year. I mean, it seems like I'm going to go 12-0 or first or last. It's like literally it's like I call this the Ricky Bobby team because if you're not first, you're last. That's what Florida State is. They're hosting this game, so that'll help at least in a newly renovated stadium. I'm going to go Alabama to win this one though. 71% got them as well. I hope Florida State beats them. That'd be great. Florida State could play spoiler at that point, and instead of getting spoiled like they did last year. South Dakota versus Iowa State. South Dakota has a good FCS program. They definitely a very good FCS program. I know that's Montana State. I think that's in the playoffs. Yeah, they had some they beat North Carolina State last year and all that. I think they're definitely very good FCS program. They could give Iowa State a show. Iowa State, on the other hand, they won against Kansas State last week, and they looked very lost in the first quarter, especially Rocco Beck. Did not do very good. First quarter, I guess it's because it's adjusting without Jalen Noel, Jade Higgins, the two Texans wide receivers now, who were on the Iowa State last year. But I think he got things really going in the second half. I think Iowa State's set to be it's a good team again this year. So yeah, I'm gonna go Iowa State to win. I just think they're gonna win against South Dakota State. 92% got them as well. Yeah. I'm gonna go Holy Cross versus NIU. Holy Cross. I mean, did they play Syracuse last year? They went through the last 4 games, I guess, with. So close losses like Lehigh. I guess I mentioned down there Harvard. There's that NIU on the other hand. NIU was actually a solid team last year. I mean, of course, we all know they beat Notre Dame, which is one of the craziest upsets in football history. And they're a decent 8-5 team. They beat Fresno State in their bowl game in overtime. Yeah. But NIU, with that being said, I think they're losing the most players of anyone this year. They do have Thomas Hammaker as their coach again, so I think he could at least put into like a bowl game. But they are losing a lot of people like Grayson Hampton's gone. This is their last year in the MAC too. They're going to the Mountain West next year, which doesn't really make any sense, but what do I know? I will say NIU wins this game. 93% go with them as well. Bucknell versus Air Force. Bucknell, I mean, went through the last 4 games last year. Close loss to Holy Cross. And, of course, back down there, close loss to Georgetown. So, like to play games close. Yeah. Air Force, on the other hand, they were not very good, but they ended up the season on a really high note. I mean, they shut out Oregon State somehow, and they won their last 4 games. So, yeah, but I think Air Force would be a much improved team this year. I mean, they got to get on the same level as Army and Navy at this point. Yeah, they got to join the party. I'm going to go Air Force to win. 96% go with them as well. Man, we've had so many games this week. We got Temple, UMass. Temple, I mean, they have the same Houston coach from last year. They were not very good. I mean, they almost beat North Texas, I guess, and they beat FAU, but still. I mean, Temple, man, just new coach. We'll see what happens. Maybe he really wanted to leave Sam Houston because he wanted to play an NFL stadium instead of a high school football stadium. Because it kind of looks like a high school football stadium a little bit. Nothing against that. Like the Sam Houston stadium. It's a nice stadium, but still. UMass, on the other hand, or shall I say, newly added MAC team UMass. I'll be honest, UConn deserved that spot more, but UMass was not very good last year. 2 wins against 2 FCS opponents. They're not going to get with that this season. I mean, how many FCS opponents are they playing this year? Because they're not independent. They can't just schedule teams like that. They got Bryant, I guess, and that's their only one. So, yeah, but UMass are joining the MAC this year. I don't even think they're the worst MAC team. They're probably the third worst MAC team. We'll see. They're hosting. It's their first games of MAC teams. At least they join a conference. So that's awesome. I'm going to go Temple to win. 73% got them as well. I just think they're done more at this point, like changing the staff and all that. Yeah, Montana State, Oregon State. Honestly, I think this game could be very close. Montana State was a really good team last year. Went undefeated. Yes, they barely lost the FCS championships in North Dakota State, which is the supreme leader of the FCS for years now. Montana State, honestly, could give Oregon State a really good game, considering Oregon almost lost to Idaho last year in the first game. Oregon, on the other hand, they got demolished by Ohio State in that bowl game, or the Rose Bowl. Yes, I know Ohio State was looking for revenge, but still, they beat every team they played last year, technically. So, yeah, but Oregon's a very good team last year. With that being said, they're losing a lot of people like Dylan Gabriel, what's his name? The wide receiver, forgot his name. They lose a lot of players. They do have Dante Moore as their quarterback, so that'll be interesting to see. But yeah, Daily, I trust them to rebuild the team. They're number 7 in the nation. I don't think they'll be as good as last year, but I still think they're going to win this game. 91% of them as well. Montana State, I can honestly see winning this game. I'm just saying. Montana, I know they're losing some people, but still. I could see Montana State winning this game if they play like they did last year. Oregon players like they did in the first game last year. Yeah, 91% go with Oregon. So, yeah. We'll see, though. Now, Maine versus Liberty. Maine, I mean, they scored 14 points at OU and just died. That's what I remember. But they only won one. They lost 4 of their last 5 games last year, with the one win coming against Bryant, close-ish game. Yeah. Liberty, on the other hand, they are losing Ken Salter and all that. And they had a weird year last year. They lost to Kennesaw State, and they weren't as good. I mean, all that. They lost their last 2 games against Sam Houston and Buffalo. Liberty, with that being said, I mean, I think they could be good. I think they'll definitely be considered to win the USA this year because I think they got decent return production. I mean, they got, besides Cade Salter, obviously, but yeah. I'm going to go Liberty to win. 93% go with them as well. Now I got A&M, not the A&M you're thinking of. Alabama A&M rather than Texas A&M. Take it to Arkansas. Alabama A&M, they won 3 of the last 4 games last year, with their one loss being close to Florida A&M, and then, of course, lost to Southern down there. But Alabama A&M, I mean, this is the same team that made Auburn shorten quarters. Auburn of all teams shortened quarters because they were losing by so much. Because A&M was losing so much by them. But Alabama A&M. Arkansas, on the other hand, I think could be a decent team this year. They got Taylor Green coming back. But it's a big year for Sam Pittman. I mean, they definitely improved last year, but Arkansas keeps on shooting themselves in the foot. So let's be real. They beat Texas Tech in a bowl game, so I'll give them that. You know, they play pretty close against Missouri and Texas. So. With that being said, I'm going to go Arkansas to win. 96% go this. Well, I don't think you're going to shorten the course this time, though. We'll see, though. Chattanooga versus Memphis. Chattanooga. I mean, they were okay last year, I guess. They win-loss. With some close losses against Western Carolina. But, I mean, I saw them play Tennessee. They got blown out. Yeah. But I was just saying, I expect most of these FCS teams to get blown out. Just like, try to do an analysis. Memphis, on the other hand, they're one of... Of course, there's that report that said they're denied to join the Big 12, which I think they should join the Big 12. They should join the Big 12. They'd honestly be a dark horse to win that conference. It's not their success over a few years. Like, I mean, if Cincinnati, Houston, and who else? UCF can join. Memphis should be able to join the Big 12, and I think Memphis and Tulane would be great fits for them, or the ACC potentially. Yeah, Memphis should actually try to join the ACC because SMU did it, and they were very successful their first year. So Memphis should do it too. And Memphis, though, they got 11 wins last year. I'm surprised if they weren't for a loss against UTSA or the Navy, they could have been in the college football playoffs. Memphis, I think they're set to be a very good team this year. I know there's a lot of new stuff this year, but I think but they're always a consistently good team. I'm gonna go Memphis to my 96% go them as well. Now we go to the 5 o'clock slate. Illinois State versus OU. Illinois State, they won 4 of the last 5 games. Yeah, the last one's a blowout, but still. I do think they are going to be. Sorry about that. I just didn't. My dad was using the restroom next to me and I wanted to feel weird, make his pee feel weird. But yeah, wait, that's something like talking because we share bathrooms from our offices. But yeah, Illinois State. I mean, we'll see what they can do. Oklahoma, on the other hand, they were mid last year. I mean, their offense was a disaster. They did beat Alabama, so again, that was the highlight win of the year. They crushed Alabama, too. But OU, they got lost. New stuff coming this year. I mean, I know they lost like Nick Anderson, Bauer Sharp to LSU, go Tigers, and Jackson Arnold to OU. They lost some players, but I think they kind of need a reset. I mean, they got Ben Arbuckle as their from Washington State as their offensive coordinator. Now I think it'd be really good for them. So. Yeah. But OU think it's gonna be much improved. They got John Mateer now. They got some lot of transport portal stuff. They got the dude from Cal as their quarterbacks. Yeah, Jane, I think his name. I don't know. I think OU's gonna win. 93% got them as well. I don't think it's gonna be a huge time point how their offense is. But I mean, maybe they put 70 up, maybe. But yeah, because they're gonna blow them out no matter what. So yeah, but OU I think has the parts and pieces to contend, and he's really in a really brutal schedule. Yeah, I got Coastal Carolina versus Virginia. Coastal Carolina has kind of fell off since like they were blown up. They were mid last year, 6-7 blowout loss to UTSA, literally a home game, even though it was a bowl game technically. Is that Virginia, on the other hand, Virginia's shown signs of potentially being decent, but like, I mean they beat Pitt, but like they've not been a good team in a long time. Virginia though, it's a big year for Tony Elliott. He needs to get at least them to a bowl game, then it'll be better. But I think they'll beat Coastal. 83% go with them as well. Now we got Albany versus Iowa. Albany won their last game last year against Hampton, but they lost a bunch of games before that, including FCS Delaware, or former FCS Delaware. I just saw. So yeah, there's that. Iowa, on the other hand, they're bringing some new people in, like Mark Gronkowski this year. Losing Caleb Johnson. Their offense definitely improved last year. Like they had a few 40 bombs last year, like on Washington, Wisconsin. I think on a different team as well. I can't check their previous games. Sorry. Or can I? Not 2 here. What the heck? Yeah. Iowa, I think. Let's see how all depend on their offense. We'll see. They're going to be a good team either way. But I do think Iowa's going to win. 94% go to them as well. Now I got Weber State versus James Madison. Weber State, I mean, they won their last game. Like, they lost a billion games before that as well. JMU, I mean, they played close to like Idaho State, and Sac State, who was supposed to go to FBS next year, but got denied, unfortunately. And there's that JMU, on the other hand, JMU's got a lot of potential. I mean, this team scored 70 in North Carolina last year and won. So, yeah, that was a crazy game, dude. I mean, they lost a few games in the season, but I mean, they beat Western Kentucky in the bowl game. Yeah, JMU I think will win that Sun Belt at this point. I think it's either them or Texas State. So yeah, but JMU I think will be a very good team this year. They can make the playoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and win this game. 94% go to them as well. I think they have Matthew Slucka from UNLV. I think they also have another dude playing quarterback as well. Now we got Long Island University at Brooklyn taking on Florida. Long Island, I mean, they won 3 of the last 4 games with a close loss against St. Francis being the only one that didn't win. But I mean, this team, I think they got shut out. I think it was TCU. Yeah, it's TCU they played last year. They got shut out there, so I don't know if I see much against Florida. Florida, on the other hand, they ended the season on a very high note, despite losing a bunch of games like King by Texas. They beat They beat LSU, Ole Miss, sorry, Florida State, and blew out Tulane. So yeah, Florida I think will be a very good team this year. We'll see if Billy Napier can improve, can build on this hot streak. But yeah, Squid Tower Sports reference, by the way. Anyways, I'll go Florida to win. 91% go with them as well. Now we got North Dakota versus Kansas State. North Dakota, they lost a lot of games last year. Pretty close, but still. KSU, Kansas State, on the other hand, they did lose to Iowa State last week, but it was a close game. I mean, they definitely need to make better calls, like not go for fourth down every time. But Kansas State, I think, will be a good team still. Avery Johnson's a good quarterback, has some of the best hair in college football, of course. But yeah, I'm going to go Kansas State to win. 94% go with them as well. I think they'll rebound after losing to Iowa State. After losing to Farmageddon. Yeah. Now we got losing Farmageddon, not losing to Farmageddon, because Farmageddon's not the name of the team. Yeah, well, I guess you think actually. Yeah. Now I got UTSA versus Texas A&M, and an in-state matchup right here. UTSA was a huge disappointment last year, but they got better as the season went along. Like they beat Memphis and all that, and then they lost to Army. It was a close game. They beat up Coastal Carolina on the road. Yeah, in their bowl game, which is very weird. That was an away game, really, not a neutral site. Texas A&M, on the other hand, they went 8-4 again last year with a loss to USC in the bowl game, which made them 8-5. But they were very good until after the LSU game. They got blown. They got lost to Carolina, lost to Auburn, lost to Texas, lost to USC. They beat Mexico State. Mexico State, they suck, bro. But yeah, A&M, I mean, we'll see. I don't know how they're always hyped up every year, but like they never fulfilled it. So yeah. With that being said, I think Texas A&M wins. 90% of them as well. UTSA could give them a decent game though. We'll see. I hope UTSA beats them. That'd be great. I got Southeastern Missouri taking on Arkansas State. Southeastern Missouri, I mean, lost 3 of the last 4 games last year. I mean, they beat West Illinois, I guess, and they also beat Gardner Webb before that. Yeah, Arkansas on the other hand, they were a decent team. I mean, they beat Bowling Green in their bowl game. But Arkansas State, I mean, they got Jalen Raynor coming back, I guess, but a lot of people are but I feel like they might fall off a little bit this year, but I think they could still be a decent team. I'm going to go Arkansas State. 92% got them as well. You know what's funny? I thought Arkansas State's logo was an alternate logo to Arkansas at first. Now I got Charleston Southern versus Vanderbilt. Charleston Southern, I mean, this team got blown up by Florida State of all teams. They were not very good. They won 1 game all year. Vandy, on the other hand, definitely a much improved Vandy team from years past. They beat Alabama. They remind me of Kansas last year. They were losing a bunch of one-score games, but a bunch of close games. But they beat Georgia Tech in their bowl game, and I think Diego Pavia with him returning, Eli Stowers are arguably the best tight end in college football this year. I think Vanderbilt's gonna be a better team than people think. I'm gonna go Vanderbilt to win this game. 96% go with them as well. Vandy's gonna be good this year. I think they will. Austin Peay versus Middle Tennessee State. Honestly, for Vanderbilt, I think they'll go 8-4 maybe. Maybe not. You never know. Or maybe they can make the playoffs. You never know. I don't know if that's gonna happen, but we'll see. Austin Peay, I mean, they only won 1 game in their last 5 games, which was against Albany. And then there's that Middle Tennessee, though, on the other hand, they were not very good last year. They won 3 games, I think. I mean, this is the same team that's getting rid of all their alternate uniforms just so they can save money. But you know what? I'll go Middle Tennessee to win. 94% go with them as well. Now I got Nichols and Troy. Nichols beat Incarnate Word yesterday with a very good defensive performance on them. Troy, on the other hand, they were not good last year. I mean, they won 3 of the last 4 games, I guess. The one lost in Louisiana. So they almost beat Arkansas State, I guess. But yeah, Troy, I guess they got Goose Crowder returning, which that's one of the funniest names I've ever heard. Goose, one of the greatest names. Goose is an amazing name. But yeah, Troy, I think, will be improved this year. We'll see. I think go back to the Neil Brown days. Don't beat LSU, though. I mean, they haven't played LSU since then, obviously. But I really want to play Troy just so we can beat the crap out of them and get revenge. But yeah, I'll go Troy to win. 94% go that. So Nichols can give him a decent game. I mean, Nichols gave LSU a close game in the first half. So last year, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Now moving on to North Alabama versus Western Kentucky. UNA, they lost their last 4 games last year. I mean, it'd be ACU, I guess, but some of their games were close, but they lost a lot of games in the season. Western Kentucky, on the other hand, they beat Sam Houston last week in a very good game. Very well played. Very good game very well played game for them. But I mean, they do. Didn't they get over Abilene Christian? I don't know, but if that's, I think they got Abilene Christian. I guess UNA beat Abilene Christian last year, but I do think West Kentucky's going to win. 95% go to them as well. Now we have Morgan State versus South Alabama. Morgan State, I mean, they won 3 of the last 4 games last year. They're very inconsistent on offense, like 7 points against South Carolina State, 7 against North Carolina, NC Central, I think that is, but then they scored 30 plus points or something. South Alabama last year, they were okay. I mean, they beat Western Michigan in the bowl game. But Gio Lopez is gone now. He went off to North Carolina kind of later on in the spring window, but yeah. But in the offseason, but yeah. But I do think South Alabama's going to win still. 95% go them as well. Now I'm going to go up because it's on my favorites list. Okay, I might spend a little too much time on this game, but here we go. The game I'm most excited for. LSU taking on Clemson. There's so much storylines. Arguably the 2 best quarterbacks in college football facing each other. Tigers versus Tigers, Death Valley versus Death Valley, 2020 National Championship rematch. I mean, all the storylines are going crazy, bro. Both these teams have national championship hype this year, and I think it's very valid too. But man, it's gonna be a fun matchup, that's for sure. And both, let's just go LSU. Let's be real, they were a disappointment last year. 9-4 is not bad, but it's not the standard, especially with Brian Kelly as your coach. I mean, they lost 3 in a row to A&M, Alabama, Florida. But I'm an LSU fan, so yeah, there's that. I love LSU, but I'm really a diehard LSU fan at this point. But yeah, then they ended on a 3-game winning streak against like Vandy, against Alabama's daddies and Dave Aranda, so that's cool. But yeah, there's that. It looks like we had a Big 12 schedule to end the season. Yeah, but LSU, they got Garrett Nussmeier coming back this year. They also did Brian Kelly did his work in the transfer portal. I mean, they got really good talent like Nick Anderson from OU, Bauer Sharp from OU, Barry Brown from Kentucky, Patrick Payton from Florida State, some other people like Byron Brown, I think, from UCF, and some dude from Houston. They got a lot of players at the transfer portal. Michael Van Buren as the quarterback of the future. I'm sure from Mississippi State, of course. We took that away from Mississippi State. Even when we don't play him, we still get a win up for him. Yeah. But LSU, I think, is set to be a really good team this year. Ken Durham's come back as running back, and I think that game's going to be even better this year. Ken Durham as a true freshman was really good last year. I mean, I saw this kid play in high school when he was at Duncanville High School. He was amazing, bro. I forgot to mention, Oregon has Decorian Moore from Duncanville. It's supposed to go to LSU, but whatever, it's fine. But LSU's offense set to be very good this year. That's why it's coming back. Aaron Anderson coming back, and of course they will. On a sad note, they are playing in honor of Kyron Lacey. Rest in peace. Very tragic situation, but yeah. Tight end, they're losing Mason Taylor, but Bauer Sharp's the replacement this year, so we'll see how you can do in a much better situation. The O-line's a little bit of a concern, but I trust them to rebuild that. So we'll see what happens there. And then what else? Yeah, but they got a lot of great stuff coming back. Defense, I think, is going to be really good this year. I think they're finally. Blake Baker definitely improved the defense last year. Not perfect, but I think as long as they can block, they can cover against dual threat quarterbacks, then they'll be fine. They got really good talent. Harold Perkins coming back after an injury last year. Whitweek's coming back. He was amazing last year. Patrick Payton, of course, got some really good recruits like DJ Pickett. I think he's the cornerback, and also got Harlan Berry, the running back. But yeah, Clemson, on the other hand, they got some really good people. Like players like Caleb Clemens coming back. Dabo finally used the transfer portal. Yeah, it was like the complete players, but so like Antonio Wilson is his name. They got some really good players this year. They have that dude on defense, but yeah, I don't know much of the names of their players, but yeah. But Clemson's is for sure the leading contender in the ACC this year, like they usually are. Yeah, overall. But both these teams aren't very good in opening games. Clemson's lost like a bunch of opening games. Like they only won like the last 4 years. Like they lost to Georgia last year and got blown out. Lost to Duke in that opening game, and they've lost a lot of opening games. LSU though, they haven't won an opening game since 2019. Joe Burrow and all are still there, and the greatest college football team of all time. I'm saying it, bro. They're the greatest of all time. And it was against Georgia Southern. It wasn't that like that. I mean, Georgia Southern has become a good team, but still. Yeah, but like they've lost to Mississippi State in 2020. Mike Leach's first game there. Rest in peace, by the way. 2021, they lost to UCLA because Max Johnson couldn't throw a football. 2022, lost to Florida because our special team sucks. 2023, lost to Florida. It was Florida State we lost to, sorry. 2023, lost to Florida State again because apparently we gave up football in the second half. And then 2024, we lost USC because apparently USC is more clutch than us. Yeah. Overall, this is tough. I really want to pick LSU. Trust me, I really want to pick them. This pains me to do this. I think Clemson wins. I'm just going to be honest. I don't think I can trust LSU in the first game. It's going to be an amazing game, though, nonetheless. 54% go this well. I hope LSU wins. I really want to pick them, but I trust Clemson more at this point. I'm just be honest with you. At least an opening game. But we'll see, though. I think LSU could for sure win that game. Like, I've only picked against LSU twice. Like, I know they didn't post the videos last year. I picked against them in the A&M game last year because I knew they were going to lose at Kyle Field. I also picked them to lose against Vanderbilt last year because I was on their losing streak. Yeah. Moving on. Now we got Big Ten Saturday night on NBC. We got New Mexico, Michigan. New Mexico definitely wasn't. They weren't that good last year. I mean, they definitely had some bright spots like Washington State, I guess, and San Diego State. But like their coach went off to Utah State. Yeah, so had some other people leave. But yeah, all that. But yeah, but Mexico's dealing with a lot of new stuff this year. There's that. Michigan, on the other hand, they got Bryce Underwood as I don't know if it's either Bryce Underwood or Mikey Keene starting. Bryce Underwood, Bryce Frauderwood, as we call him at LSU. Why am I getting notifications? They're literally trying to not disturb. But Michigan, man, they're set to be a really good team this year. Considering they beat Alabama with a billion opt-outs, this team's set to be really good this year. I mean, they had a hot end of last season. They scored. I didn't even know they had. I didn't even know this happened. They put a 50 bomb on Northwestern. Then they beat Ohio State, and then they also beat Alabama. So, yeah, Michigan's going to be a great team this year. Give me Michigan. 91% got them as well. Much improved this year from last year. I think Sharon Moore might be suspended. I don't know. But I think they'll be fine. I don't know. I know they got those penalties from the Stein stealing, but hey, it could have been worse. But yeah. They got Arkansas Pine Bluff taking on Texas Tech. Pine Bluff, I mean, they lost the last 4 games last year, and I think they played Arkansas last year, and they got blown out by them. Yeah, Texas Tech, on the other hand. Texas Tech did a lot of work in the transfer portal, probably the most of anyone. They got really good receivers. They got really good players. So pretty much every player known the man went there. Yeah, Texas Tech set to be a really good team this year. Heck, they even got a player back after losing to A&M. Imagine getting a player and losing him. Yeah, back to his old team. Yeah, in fact, against their old rival. Weren't Texas Tech and Texas A&M rivals back in the day? Yeah, Texas Tech set to be a really good team this year. They haven't been ranked in a long time. I think they definitely showed a lot of potential last year. I mean, they beat both Arizona State and Iowa State last year. If I want, I think, they both beat both the two best teams in the Big 12 last year. But for them, but they lost to Arkansas in the bowl game, to be fair. But if it weren't for them losing to Colorado and blowing the game against TCU and losing to Washington State and also letting Baylor put 59 on you, maybe they would have made the Big 12 championship, maybe the Big 12 championship, maybe the playoffs. If they get that defense improved, then they'll be. Because this is the same team that took Abilene Christian, that got taken by Abilene Christian to overtime and almost lost Abilene Christian. I mean, they won, but still. Texas Tech, though, I do think they will win this game. 95% of them. So I think they're set to be a good team this year. I just don't know if I can trust that defense yet, but we'll see. I got to see it to believe it. If they shut out Arkansas Pine Bluff, that might not be a big telling point, but maybe that's something. Southeastern Louisiana versus Louisiana Tech. Southeastern Louisiana, I mean, they won 3 of their last 4 games last year, including shutting that shutout win against Northwestern State. Their one loss was against Incarnate Word. They are actually playing LSU later this year, so we'll see how that goes. But this is the same team that got blown out by Tulane last year, shutout, I believe. La Tech also playing LSU later this year. I actually think next week. The next game they're playing LSU. Louisiana Tech, I mean, they got gifted the bowl game after Marshall couldn't go. After I couldn't go, I guess, because my name's Marshall and all that. They definitely had a lot of close games last year. I mean, they had a decently close game against Arkansas, I guess. But, they shut out Kennesaw State. I mean, Army was kind of a blowout. But, yeah. I don't see Jacksonville State. They have a lot of potential on this team. And I think they're going to win. 96% got them as well. Just South Louisiana, I think, can stand. I don't think they're going to put up much of a fight against this. I don't know. Maybe they play a decent fight. I don't know. Now we get UTEP versus Utah State. UTEP has definitely not been good. I mean, they won 2 of the last 3 games last year. Yeah, against not very good teams, but still. In between was a shutout loss against Tennessee. UTEP, though, they got some new players. They got what's his name? They got Malachi Nelson who used to be at USC and then, of course, was at Boise State last year. Now, UTEP, they also got, they got Tyler Roberts from my school. Shout out to him, by the way, because I believe he is going to UTEP. He's a 6'9" lineman for the team, for a high school team. Yeah. So I think he's there. Hopefully he does good there. That'd be awesome. Utah State, on the other hand, of course, UTEP's going to Mountain West next year. They're playing one of their future in conference opponents. Utah State, on the other hand, to get the new Mexico coach now. They weren't that good last year. They ended on a high. It ended with winning two of the last 3 games. The one loss being a close loss against Colorado State. But yeah, overall, I'll go Utah State to win. 82% go them as well. I got new FCS team or new FBS. Oh, I messed it up again. We got brand new FBS team, Missouri State, taking on USC. They have a brutal start to their slate this year. Look at this. At USC, at Marshall, taking on SMU at home. Missouri State's their first year in the FBS. I mean, I don't know how they're probably like a 4-8 team thing. They'll be kept better than Kansas State. They lost their last 2 games. They had to be fair. It's North Dakota State and South Dakota State. But still, Missouri State, I think, will be like a D-tier team this year. But they're in the USA, so anything can happen. But yeah, we'll see. I think definitely exciting stuff for Missouri State going up to FBS. Now, Missouri has more than one team in the FBS in that state. Now, USC, on the other hand, definitely looking to improve this year. Honestly, their defense was improved last year. I mean, yeah, they're inconsistent at points, but they definitely improved. But like, I think this year's going to be a better season. What's up?
Are you dressed?
Not yet.
We're going to go to lunch.
Okay.
Can you get dressed?
In a bit. Yeah, I got you.
Okay. I'm going to shower. I'll be out in like 10 minutes. We can leave.
Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm just doing something.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but USC, I think they're improving this year. They're a 35-point favorite. Oh my God, bro. But give me USC to win. I think they'll win this game. 19% got them as well. Now I got Georgia State. Ole Miss. Georgia State, they were not very good last year. They beat Vanderbilt, and they also beat Texas State somehow, but they lost all their other games, let's be real. Maybe one other team, I think. Yeah. Ole Miss, though, they're doing a lot new this year, losing Trey Harris, Jackson Dart, all the NFL. And do have, like, Summer and Perkins back. But Ole Miss, though, I think they're going to be a much... I think they're going to regress a bit, especially with no fake injuries anymore. Lane Kiffin's still their coach, so I think even though you can't fake the injuries anymore, I think let's carry them at least an 8-4 record. But yeah, I think Ole Miss wins. 93% go with them as well. Georgia State lost playing at SEC teams they played. Vandy last year, Ole Miss this year, LSU a few years ago. Yeah. Rice, Louisiana. Rice, man, I mean, they got some new stuff. They got a good quarterback, I think, but like they beat South Florida last year and they beat Navy. But they're actually close against Memphis and UConn. They got a lot of potential, but like I don't know how it's gonna go. Louisiana, on the other hand, they got Walker Howard, their quarterback, former LSU and Ole Miss quarterback. Yeah, and he's back in his hometown. So yeah, we'll see how he does there. Louisiana definitely had a great season. They kind of sucked at their. Oh, I don't know what that. They didn't look great. They kind of sucked after they beat ULM. They got blown out by Marshall in the conference championship. They got blown out by TCU in their bowl game. So yeah, but I do think Louisiana will win this game. 87% go them as well. Portland State, BYU. Portland State got shut out by Tarleton yesterday. 42-0, blown out. And BYU, listen, I know Jake Retzloff's gone and all that because of all the controversy. And I do think they will regress without him, but they got a lot of return production. They have a new quarterback. I think his number's like 47, and I know it's a true freshman. Or freshman, some sort. Yeah. But BYU, I think they'll still be a decent team this year. I think they'll win. 95% go with them as well. Abilene Christian versus Tulsa. Abilene Christian, man. I mean, I tell you what. They almost beat Texas Tech last year. I know they're losing some people, but like Texas, but the fact they beat Texas Tech last year, I mean, that's pretty crazy how they did. Almost beat Texas Tech, which is a moral victory. I mean that's pretty crazy. I mean, they definitely are a pretty good FCS team. Tulsa, on the other hand, oh man, they were terrible last year. 3-9, I believe. I don't even know what the record was last year. Not very good. They beat UTSA, I guess, but outside that, nothing else. But Tulsa, I think they could be improved this year. But yeah, overall, I'm actually going Abilene Christian to win. 10% go them as well. I mean, this team almost beat Texas Tech last year. Tulsa could definitely win it, but yeah. Now at Lamar versus North Texas. Lamar, I mean, they're a decent FCS team. They won their last 2 games last year against McNeese and Nichols. So there's that. North Texas, on the other hand, they are losing Chandler Morris to Virginia, and they have Reese Pottinger, whatever his name is. They had a great start to last year, and they lost a bunch of games, and they beat Temple and almost beat Texas State, I guess. But UNC, though, I think they'll be a good team this year. Their offense is going to be very good. Defense is a question mark, but we'll see. But Yeah, definitely got the coaches definitely got Mike Leach type stuff like go through and fourth down a lot. But yeah.
Fucking NASCAR race threw me off.
Sorry for the explicit language, but North Texas, I think is gonna win this game 95%. Go them as well. So yeah, Eastern Michigan versus Texas State. Eastern Michigan, they were 5-7. They looked terrible in the last year, losing a lot of games. Yeah, almost beat Toledo, but still. But we'll see how they can do this year. I don't think they'll be that good this year. Texas State, I think could be one of those contenders that wins the Sun Belt. They almost beat Arizona State last year, and they blew out Southern Miss. I guess they won 4 of the last 5 games, of course. Some lost to Georgia State. But yeah, it was still a close game, but I'm gonna go Texas State to win 84% of them as well. I'm a little faster with these picks, by the way. Now I got East Texas A&M. Yes, that's actually a real university. Which is formerly known as Texas A&M Commerce, taking on SMU. East Texas A&M, I mean, they had some bright spots. I guess they beat SFA and Houston Baptist, but like they lost a bunch of games. It seems like they've been, I don't know, have they ever played a Power 4 opponent? I've listened a long time. But I think they could definitely, I think they could be decent in the FCS this year, but they're playing SMU, and SMU made the playoffs last year. I know losing some people, like losing Moochie Dixon. I believe he might be on the Saints still, I don't know. I know you got signed on Jeff Region. They're losing their running back Rashard Smith, some other people, their defense. But SMU is set to be a good team again this year. They definitely have a tougher schedule this year. I think they'll be very good still. Give me SMU. 95% go as well. 95% go with them as well. LSU's actually slated to play them in a few years, so there's that. Unless the non-conference game thing gets in the way. But yeah. Now Bryant, New Mexico State. Bryant, I mean, they lost a lot of games in last year. So not a lot of momentum coming this season. New Mexico State, on the other hand, not one of the worst teams in the FBS. Only like 2 or 3 wins last year, but yeah, they haven't been the same since Diego Pavia left. But yeah, I'm gonna go. I think they're gonna win this game. 94% go them as well. I'm gonna go a little faster through these picks just so I can get done with this. So I'm kind of on time crunch all of a sudden. Georgia Southern, Fresno State. Georgia Southern, I mean, they're definitely set to be a good team this year. I mean, they lost to St. Houston in that bowl game, but they're definitely one of those teams that like have gotten good over the years. They used to be FCS a while ago. Yeah, Fresno on the other hand, Fresno, I mean, they lost to Kansas yesterday and kind of a blowout. But I think Georgia Southern's gonna actually. I don't know. I'll go Georgia Southern to win 19% of them as well. Fresno could definitely win it too. We'll see. All right, NAU versus Arizona State. Northern Arizona, definitely a good, solid FCS program. Yeah, they got shot of Alvin Cushing this season, but still, that's a good stuff. I mean, they scored a decent amount. I think they scored a decent amount in Arizona last year. Arizona State, on the other hand, made what a Cinderella story last year. Big shocker. They projected to finish last in the Big 12 last year, yet they won it. They almost beat Texas in the bowl game, or in the playoffs. Yeah. Arizona State, I think they'll definitely be very good again this year. Lots of return production besides Cam Scatterboop. I think this will be really good. But yeah, I think Kelly Dillingham is a very good coach. I think they're going to win I think they're winning the Big 12. I think they'll win the Big 12 again this year. So yeah, give me Arizona State 95% of them as well. LSU's also supposed to play in a few years. LSU just play Arizona State and SMU in the same year. Okay. Yeah. Now we got Idaho, Washington State. Idaho was definitely a good FCS team last year. They used to be in the FBS. At least they got blown out in the game against Montana State, but still. Idaho, I mean, they beat Wyoming last year, almost beat Oregon, so there's that. Washington State, on the other hand, they are losing a lot of people. Like, they lost a lot of people. Like, they lost Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer to OU and also other players. Yeah, but Washington State, I think, will regress a bit this year. But I don't know, man. I think they'll still win. 93% of them as well. Also, technically, this is a rivalry. Yeah. Despite them being in different leagues. Like Kevin reference. Hawaii, Arizona. Hawaii actually beat Stanford last week, and the quarterback looked good last week. 2 touchdowns and all that. So, yeah. Arizona, on the other hand, they're looking for a rebound season. Brett Brennan, whatever his name is, took over the program, and they weren't that good. They regressed a lot. I think they'll get better this year. We'll see. Now, can Hawaii beat 2 Power 4 teams in a row? No. Arizona's going to win 85% of them as well. I think Arizona's better than Stanford at this point. Oregon State. California, I think they're definitely going to be a good team this year. Just kidding. California, they're definitely regressing a lot this year. I mean, they lost a lot of people. Fernando Mendoza, their running backs, and all that. They do have, what's his name? Isn't Brian Harsin their offensive corner, defensive corner? I don't know. One of the coordinators, but Cal's definitely gonna fall off, but this year and they weren't even that good last year. They lost to UNLV in that bowl game. Yeah, they went 6-6. Oregon State, on the other hand, they got Malik Murphy of all people to come play for them, but I think they'll definitely be a better team this year. I mean, they've had some. They technically won the Pac. They're technically the Pac-12 champions. So yeah, this is an old Pac-12 matchup, by the way. Give you Oregon State 74% of those. So Pac-12 at the dark is not dead yet. Here's another one. Okay, Utah, UCLA, Utah had a very disappointing season. Lots of injuries, especially to their 35-year quarterback, Cam Rising, but he's retired. He's gone now. Unfortunately, sucks for him that his career ended up like that. They do have what's his name? They had a new quarterback, Devin Dampier. UCLA, on the other hand, they got what a weird situation. They got Joey Aguilar, and they switched him out for Nico Yamaliava, who wanted more money. But UCLA, I just don't know if I trust that team still. But I'm gonna go Utah to win this game. 56% go with them. I think UCLA can win. I'm glad they bring back that matchup though. Oh, 1 second. I got Colorado State versus Washington. Colorado State was a good team last year. I mean, I know they got blown out in the bowl game, but they were a good team. I mean, they almost made the Mountain West Championship if they didn't lose to Fresno State. Yes, they would have gone over. What was it? UNLV. UNLV was a better team anyways. So yeah, Washington, on the other hand, they regressed a lot last year, 6-7. I mean, I kind of saw it coming. They lost a lot of people, but second year they got the Mon Williams now. In the second year, I think they'll be a much better team this year. Like 8-4 might be where they go. But yeah, I think Washington's gonna win this one. 87% go. This one. Is it? I think Colorado's returning Brandon Fowler Nichols against. Yeah. Now we have Virginia Tech and South Carolina. And now we get the Sunday slate. Virginia Tech. They were not great. They were kind of disappointed. I mean, literally, Pat McAfee picked them to win the ACC last year. They were 6-7, lost Minnesota in the Mayo game. But yeah, but Virginia Tech. I mean, I think Howard Jones is back this year. It's a big year for them. I think any improvement. I forgot their coach's name, but I think he's on the hot seat. I mean, Virginia Tech just was kind of disappointed last year. We'll see how they can do this year. South Carolina, on the other hand, they were a surprise last year. South was really good. They went 9-4. They had some close games, all that. I mean, they got really good as the season went along. They almost beat LSU and Alabama, so they could have made the playoffs somewhere for that. If they even just won one of those games, maybe even SEC championship. But yeah, South Carolina, I think, will be a really good team again this year. And they're losing to people like Rocket Sanders and all that. But and Robbie Asher went to Wake Forest. They got Lenore Sullis again, who could be a Heisman contender. So yeah, I'm gonna go South Carolina. Win 83% go with them as well. Now we have the second to last game. You got Notre Dame versus Miami, a former in-conference matchup if you count 2020. Notre Dame was the national championship runner-up. They're losing to people like Riley Leonard and Steve Angeli, like some of the running backs, and some of the other players are going away. They got Jeremiah Love again, who think it will be the Ash Agency of the year. And TJ Carr is supposed to be a really good quarterback, even though his last name is Carr. But yeah. But Notre Dame, I think, will be a good team again this year. They could definitely be in the national championship hunt again this year. We'll see. They might regress a little, but I think they'll be a very good team still. Miami, on the other hand, man, a season of what if last year. It seems like they're a very good team. Don't get me wrong, but their defense was a crap show. Reminds me of 2023 LSU. Amazing offense, terrible defense. They're losing Cam Ward and some other players like Daniel Martinez. They're definitely in Xavier Restrepo, but they have Carson back. And they also got a new defensive coordinator. So yeah, but I think Miami will be improved this year. And but it's at home, so yeah. Overall, I do think Notre Dame's gonna win. 65% got them as well. And last but not least, the very last game. We have TCU in North Carolina. Bill Belichick's debut, bro. This would be a crazy game. TCU, let's start with them. They're returning to one of the best quarterbacks in the Big 12, Josh Hoover, and he was very good last year. Set a record for them last year in passing. I think the offense was very good last year. I know they're losing all their wide receivers to the NFL, like, who was it? Savion Williams, J.P. Richardson, and Jack Besh, former LSU player. But I think that team's still going to be very good. Still be a good team. It could be a good team this year. It could be dark horse in the Big 12. They got a tough schedule this year, but everyone said last year. But none of them end up ranked. Like, they legit didn't even play a single ranked opponent. Yes, I know SMU's on their schedule. They played SMU, but that was before they were ranked. Throughout they lost to BYU as well. But much tougher schedule this year. I mean, what they had, like, very tough. And even their FCS opponent's tough. See, almost beat Texas Tech last year. Yeah. But yeah, there's that. North Carolina, on the other hand, North Carolina could actually make the playoffs with the schedule they have. I mean, they got a few tough games if Bill Belichick coaches very well. Yeah. I mean, yeah, but North Carolina, on the other hand, they got Bill Belichick as their coach now, arguably the greatest NFL coach of all time. Come to coach North Carolina is pretty awesome. Listen, talk about Jordan Hudson all you want, but it's Bill Belichick, bro. He's one of the greatest coaches of all time. Yes, I know I know he wasn't as good as Tom Brady left, but still. They got Gio Lopez as their quarterback now from South Alabama. I think that's a very good pickup. I mean, you got Max Johnson there too, former LSU quarterback, of course. North Carolina, I think they're set to be a good team this year. I mean, honestly, I could see them beat Clemson. We'll see. I mean, Bill Belichick versus Dabo Swinney is gonna be an epic matchup. Yeah, this game's actually supposed to be played in Ireland next year. That'd be interesting. But now who thinks gonna win this game? It's gonna be tough. I think both have a good shot, but I just can't forget the fact, because I think TCU's a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I just can't forget the fact that Bill Belichick's there. I'm gonna take North Carolina to beat TCU. I think TCU could definitely win. They're actually favored to win this game. I'd argue they have a more talented roster at this point, but North Carolina, I think, is the better coach team at this point. Teddy Dack's a good coach. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's inconsistent, but he's good. But North Carolina's good. I think he's gonna win this game. 65% goes on as well, but we'll see. That'll be a close game. So yeah. Anyways, whoever thought Bill Belichick coaching college football. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and goodbye. See you next one. Peace.